in just a few weeks. Our kids are going to be back in school. And while that's exciting for some students, it can be stressful and challenging for kids with learning disabilities.
This includes dyslexia, a disorder that impacts the way people read. But now artificial intelligence might help students overcome those obstacles. We're joined by the co-inventor of Dysolve and clinical linguist Coral Ho. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Let's start from the very beginning, just for people who may not have a child or they may not know much about dyslexia. Can you talk to us about how it impacts learning?
Yes. First of all, people should realize that this is a language processing problem, which means that people who are affected have inefficient language processes running in the brain. And it can impact not just reading, but all sorts of other language functions. It's been called an invisible disability, but really in schools, that's what you notice, that they're struggling with reading on grade.
How are you using AI to help dyslexic students? Like how does that work?
Yes. First of all, let's explain why we had to go with AI, and that even highly trained teachers are not sufficient to get students to read on grade level if they have this reading difficulty. It's because there are three main obstacles to solving this problem. One is complexity. When we talk about language processes in the brain, you're talking about a very complex linguistic system that's comparable to a large operating system for the computers. And so you have millions and millions of lines of code, and you have to find where these problems are. Then the second one is speed. Speech comes at us at a very rapid speed, and so then we have to have the computer measure that and track that. The third one is capacity. We want to be able to help all students, and there are at least 13 million children in the country who have dyslexia, and we want to be able to do that for everybody. Now, in Texas, just like with other states, the schools are not actually serving all students with dyslexia at this point.
Yeah, and so can you tell us briefly, traditionally, how schools, what kinds of programs, what methods they use to teach students with dyslexia, and then how it's very different from what you're using with AI?
Yes, first of all, the teachers have to be highly trained, right? So in addition to getting their education certification, they have to go through many more hours and months of training to be able to deal with dyslexia intervention. And yet, in spite of that, the students will still continue to struggle year after year, because these methods are supposed to just compensate for the difficulty rather than correct it, which is where Dysolve AI comes in. Dysolve is D-Y-S-O-L-V-E. And the reason why we're able to correct the condition for the first time is because the AI expert system interacts with the child to probe the why of things. Why is the child having this kind of difficulty? Why can the child not do some particular language task? So if we probe deep enough, then we get to the source or sources of these reading difficulties. And that's why for the first time, we're able to correct this kind of condition. And I should mention that Dysolve AI has advanced patented technology to have this generative capacity to create new games to evaluate and to correct.
Yeah. So go
constantly.
back and help me explain Dysolve to the layman's person. Is this a computer software? Is it helping the teachers? Is it helping the students? Is it both? What does it look like
in a classroom?
Yes, it's helping everybody. But despite the complexity of the problem, the interface with the child is very simple. The child only needs to play game after game. And when we talk about other educational programs that are online, the teacher has to learn how to use it. So there's teacher training orientation. But there's nothing like that for Dysolve. The child just gets an account, the password, and just logs in to play game after game, because Dysolve AI decides what to do next in real time while the child is interacting with the computer system.
Like the AI, the program is learning how the child thinks and why it's making certain decisions, and
then provides feedback.
Yeah.
That's right. So that's why we call it an expert system. It's doing the job of an expert, evaluating the child and then training the child, correcting the problem. And so, because human experts just cannot overcome the 3 obstacles that I mentioned, the computer system comes in to do this job.
All right. Okay, we have run out of time, but we want to make sure that people know that they can go to your website. We're going to link them there. Is it Dysolve.com?
Yes, it's DYSOLVE.
And we'll link you there on clicktohouston.com. Dr. Ho, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.